Carl, you've been coming here a lot of years, and you coached here. You see that home run yesterday down the right field line, and you people always tell you never know what you'll see at a ballpark, but how much does that happen when you're here in your mind?
It happens. It's strange. You tend to, your memories go to, so I go to when I was with the Red Sox, I saw it happen more for the opposition than I saw it happen for us. I remember J.J. Hardy hit it twice, I think, one night when he was with the Orioles. Then, of course, yesterday the script was turned and Story hits it for them. I've seen balls, hit that ladder and carry them, in a crazy direction. It's a fun ballpark. It's a ballpark that it forces you to pay attention in a much different way than you pay attention in other ballparks. There's so many angles and nooks and crannies, and the wall's short and the wall's high, and then you got that right field that's short to the pole and juts deep out and has the turn around. And but it's a great place to watch a game. I love the history here, and it's probably my favorite ballpark aside from Progressive Field.
I agree. As a pitching coach or as someone that's pitched, you can look at that wall in left field and go, oh, man, that ain't fair. But then you look out to right center and go, man, I love that.
Yeah, right. Well, that's right. And sometimes I think when it's your home field, you learn how to deal with it. It's a little more difficult for the opposition when you come in and maybe all of a sudden you don't really want to change how you pitch because you want to pitch with your strengths and how you've had success. But, it can be a intimidating and learning experience all at the same time.
Slade, last time out, we talked, I think we were in Arizona, about him using his legs more at that point where maybe a little fatigue is set in. How have you thought he's dealt with those changes?
I thought that his last outing, I think his last two outings, I've seen an uptick in the fastball. I've seen a little uptick in terms of the fastball command. Still searching for more consistency with the breaking pitches, particularly with the slider. Again, I think I said this before. You kind of attributed that to the workload, the time of year, the volume. He doesn't feel tired, but at the same time, you have to respect that. He's gone beyond 100 innings now at the major league level for the first time in his career. There's a lot of high leverage pitches, high intensity pitches that you're making. That he's in an area now that he hasn't made before in his career. So this guy is that he works. If there's anything you have to do with Slade is pull him back a little bit so he can conserve a little bit of his energy. But I did feel like the last couple outings have been better.
Using the legs. Now, and it's funny because we've seen Parker come up and have a lot of success early on and attack. Then you get a guy like Joey Cantillo, who we all keep talking about, has the same stuff. Is it almost like you want to teach the same thing of just attacking with that stuff?
Yeah, you do. You want to attack the zone with your best stuff. And deliveries, everyone's different. And so, sure, you want to use your legs. At the same time, you want to use your legs in a way that your timing, your upper body rhythm is going to simulate your lower body, and they're going to be connected. And sometimes when you tire and you try to use your legs more, you get in your legs, but you slow everything above down a tick, and then you're a little late with the ball. You're not quite getting to your release point. You're not creating the same actions or, repeating the same execution when it comes to locating those pitches. So it's why we do a lot of work in the bullpen, not only just, throwing a baseball, but just doing dry work and doing delivery drills to help the pitchers feel that connection.
Logan Allen started the last game in the stretch, jumped out to us right away, and he said that you guys have been working on it because he was throwing his stuff better that way than so how does that process go of hey, your stuff's working just as good if not better when you're out of the stretch? How did that process go, and what did you think of it? Because after that first inning, you only give up one hit. Yeah, we started talking with Logan about it a few weeks ago, and I think one of the great things about the game today is we can see something, but then we can always we can go to the computer, we can go to the graphs, the data, all the technology we have, and see are what our eyes seeing being backed up by this stuff that's actually being measured and captured. And we felt like it was. Now we started having a conversation with Logan about it. At that particular point in time, there were situations where
bases loaded, 2 outs, second and third, 2 outs, whatever the case may be. Logan was more comfortable pitching out of the windup. Well, you don't want to take that away if that's where he's comfortable. But doing more work out of the stretch in the bullpen got him to a point where his last start, he was ready to make the commitment. I'm going to take it into the game. Look, I think all of us, Logan, all of the pitching group, after that first inning, we were thinking, wow, maybe we should go back to the windup, right? But you don't want to have a knee-jerk reaction. And he stuck with it. And the next 5 innings were phenomenal. So, we'll see where that takes us.
Are windups necessary? I only ask that because when you pitched, everybody had a windup. If you didn't have a guy on base, you wound up. It's more – Bale yesterday didn't use a windup. He was out of the stretch. He goes back and forth. You just see so many pitchers almost breaking it down to almost the easiest form before they let the pitch go, whether a guy's on base or not. Why do you think that's where we've got?
I think we're to that point now, and I do like the windup. I know that, hey, when guys are on, you're going to pitch out of the stretch, and you can argue that you make your most important pitches of games in the stretch. But it's still, at the same time, you're giving guys a different look. But I think that, again, it goes back to, motion capture and the details of the video nowadays and the biomechanical resources that we have. If we can build a really efficient stretch delivery, it's fewer movements, it's fewer moving parts to go astray, and it just gets cleaner. Again, as long as it's more efficient, and I think one of the things that's changed in this game is I know back in the 80s. A lot of times pitching coaches were always trying to get you to slow down, be under control, slow down. And now there's much more talk about moving faster, but yet still being under control, still being connected. So we're learning so much about how the body moves, how the body works. I just think that, the stretch is simplifying it, and we're not seeing a drop-off in stuff when guys are doing it now.
I just thought of this as you were talking. All the lefties you guys have as starters. I know that doesn't change anything for you, or does it? How different is it to have that many lefties in rotation? And you've always had a couple in the pen, but how does that go with your work?
Well, I think, it's no different really than having a lot of righties. I mean, because here's the thing, Andre, you can have 3 lefties. We got Messick right now. Cantillo's been starting here. Hey, Logan Allen. They're not all the same. They all throw left-handed. They have similar, arsenals, but their shapes, their velocities, their strengths are all different. Their slots are all different. How they, their delivery. So everybody's their own individual, regardless of, if they're all left-handed, all right-handed, or, mix and match.
Gavin just walked by us. I'm going to end on this, though. And just watching him and being around him, seems to be walking a little bit more confidently. I love him because he's a different cat. But do you think just having some success on the mound and kind of finding himself past the All-Star break changes how you carry yourself a little bit? Because he was mad when he left at the All-Star break about all the walks.
Yeah, I think so. And, I made the comment to, my guys with the pitching team. I felt like his last start against Seattle, and I know Vody mentioned this. He took a no-hitter in the 9th inning in New York. I thought his last inning in Seattle was his best start of the year, and I thought his temperament and his presence on the mound during that outing, he looked like a guy. He looked like a major league pitcher, under control, confident, on the attack, in the zone. It was different. It was a different look for me. We've seen it coming, but confidence can go a long way, man, and that's what we try to instill in these guys every day.
You can see it. All right. Other thing is, Corey Kluber's with us on this trip. He's here. He's going to be in Tampa. I told him he's just making home trips for himself, basically. I know Klubes. I know him. But for people that see him, he told me that, he told me, he goes, because I go, what are you doing? And we both laughed because we've been around each other. And he said, well, he goes, whatever they're asking me to do. What has happened? Because he said Gavin's one of the guys that he's had conversations with. What is it like to have a multiple-time Cy Young Award winner? Not here every day, but when he's here, what's the impact that he has to helping this group?
You can't put a value on it. There's no price tag to put on it. Look, I think that, look, I played freaking 30 years ago, right? I mean, nobody cares that I played, knows what I didn't do, thank God, right? But they all know, and particularly people here in Cleveland, in our clubhouse, they know who Corey Kluber is, and they know what he did. And so when we're able to have Klubs in our conversations with the pitchers, he's able to speak to them about things we're talking about with recent history, with recent experience. And so while we haven't forgotten, they know he was doing this 2 years ago, and he was in the midst of this, and he went through struggles early in his career. And so it's great that, he can voice those things to them and say, hey, I went through the same thing, and here's what I learned. Now, they have to learn it as well, but I think giving them that peace of mind of knowing that if I put the work in, I'm going to figure it out. I got all the ability, all the tools, and so his experience can kind of speed that process up a little bit because there's more buy-in just because of the name Corey Kluber.
Yeah.